In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Phase 1 Dark Trooper for the Legacy Collection. He's Build-A-Droid number 56, and he's part of the very last wave of the Legacy Collection, and that is the Expanding Universe wave. So if you've been on the channel for a little while now, you might be thinking, haven't you reviewed this before? I could have swore that you did this video. Well, I did, but instead, 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago at the point of this video, I did the entire wave all in one video. And as time's gone on, I've thought about it a little bit more, and I think, I'm finding out that it's better that you separate each individual action figure for its own video. It's easier for search engines, and plus I think they stand out a lot more. And of course, a lot's changed on YouTube for me over the last 2 years, and I figure it's about time to revisit these characters. They haven't been featured on the channel a whole lot since then, so I think it's about time. So we're going to be re-reviewing everything individually for the 6 action figures that were in that wave. And the first one here is 56 through, what is it, 61, 62? Yeah, 61 actually. So the Phase 1 Dark Trooper. So this character, as far as I know, his only appearance is really in Dark Forces 1, and it's either the 5th or 6th mission, I think it is, and it's when it's like the final boss fight in one of those missions where Kyle Katarn goes to Rasan, and then this is his first real exposure to the Dark Trooper project. These guys do show up in Empire at War, Forces of Corruption as well. That's the first time I really got familiar with them. Before that, I had not played Dark Forces up to that point. I have heard of the Dark Troopers before Empire at War, but I just never really got a lot of exposure to them so much. So there's 3 phases of Dark Trooper. We have the Phase 1 here. This is the only action figure of him. Phase 2, unfortunately, never got an action figure. He was supposed to. He was supposed to be part of like the Droid Factory sets, where it was like the 2 packs, and then it came with a droid part. And unfortunately, that was canceled. I'm not sure if that was supposed to be before the Phase 3 Dark Trooper, the black one, or after. And then if it was after, then that was probably when the Legacy Collection was winding down and getting canceled. So it probably just never came to fruition. I would love to see the Phase 2 Dark Trooper make its way into TBC. I don't know if it will, though. It would obviously be a deluxe action figure. But I really hope Hasbro gets around to that at some point, because we have a big hole in the Dark Trooper collection. And for Phase 3, we've gotten a couple of them over the years. So back in the Power of the Force days, we did get the Phase 3 Dark Trooper, which that's an action figure I've been eyeing for many years now at this point, and I just haven't pulled the trigger on it to go ahead and get him. And he's not that expensive either. Usually you can find him for $15, $20 at most, and it's just one of those ones like, yeah, I'll get it some other time. Yeah, I'll get it some other time. But at some point I will go ahead and get that one. And then there's also the much bigger and probably more accurate looking one, and that's the black Phase 3 Dark Trooper that came with the Droid Factory sets. I've had a few of those parts over the years. I do own a few of those sets, but I've never been able to complete that droid. Sometimes you see some listings for it complete on eBay, and it goes way up in the hundreds, which is ridiculous. And then, of course, if you buy individual parts, a lot of times those are expensive as well. Or you can buy all the sets, which that ends up being very pricey as well. The Phase 1 Dark Trooper is a little bit more basic than the other 2. The other 2 have a lot more firepower about them. This one, he mostly has like a lance, I suppose, and a shield here, or it almost looks like a short sword of some sorts. And we'll just take a closer look at him. So personally, I think this is one of the best engineered action figures that Hasbro's ever done. We've never seen anything like it before. And one great thing about this Expanding Universe wave is everything's pretty much brand new. There's really no reused parts on any of the figures. So I've heard before that this Phase 1 Dark Trooper looks kind of similar to RoboCop, and I can definitely see that. I'm sure he has drawn some inspiration from films like that. I'm sure a few other science fiction films here and there. Well, for his paint, other than his visor there, he's pretty much all just silver and some grays. A lot of wires sticking out. Same thing for the back here. And same for the shield. And same for his blade there. Nice detailing in his parts. I think the head sculpt looks pretty good. Of course, everything else seems to be sculpted very nicely as well. Even without a stand, I think he stands pretty good on his own. Yeah, I don't really have any problems with that. I keep him on a stand though, in case there's a domino effect or anything like that. And you can't really keep him entirely on that base. You have to basically have 1 foot on and then 1 foot off. In terms of his articulation here, he does have some pretty unique articulation that we never see on any action figures. So I think technically he has a ball joint to head. Yeah, he does, but there's not a, other than side to side, you can't really look up and down very much. And that's just because of how that head was tooled. And on that ball point there, not that big of a deal though. I mean, him being a droid, it kind of makes sense that he would mostly look side to side anyway. He does have hinge at the shoulders, which is a very unique hinge. As you can see, it pops out there. The hinge is actually at the arm instead of within the shoulder. He has a pretty good range of motion on that. He does have hinged elbows, which go just about 90 degrees. Swivel wrists, then a swivel waist, and swivel hips, and then hinged knees and hinged ankles as well. Weapons and accessories, it's basically his basics. So he has a shield here, which is removable. He has that strap there. It's a nice pattern on it. And he holds it pretty good. I've never really had any problems with him holding the shield there. You just kind of have to do it a certain way. Yeah. Then of course his blade here, which is attached to his arm. And you can unplug these tubes sticking out of him, and then that would allow you for a little bit more articulation if you want to get him in some dynamic poses. You wouldn't really be able to do this with him if this was plugged in. I think that's pretty much the only one that unplugs. And the one with his legs as well here, so you can get him in some more dynamic poses if you so choose. Something like that looks really good. And for his final part here, he does come with a Build-A-Droid part, obviously. And this is the, what is it, BGJ38, I think it is. And he comes with the left leg, I'm pretty sure. Very intricate droid as well. I'll do a more final review of him later on. But he is kind of difficult to stand. Those legs aren't the most sturdy in the world. It's easy enough to put together. I think I've seen some samples online where people have had his head like that, thinking that this is the front. That looks like a bug. He has some good armor probably on top of his head there. And I've never quite figured out exactly what these are. They might be a place to put a jetpack, or maybe this is the jetpack. It's been a while since I played Dark Forces 1, and it's Phase 1 Dark Trooper only shows up for that one particular mission, if I recall correctly. So we only really see him the one time. Not sure if he shows up in any comics here and there. I wouldn't be surprised if he does. And before we go, bring out another familiar character that ends up taking this guy out. Kyle Katarn here. Definitely can get some nice diorama scenes out of this. Anyways, I think that's all I can tell you about the Phase 1 Dark Trooper, so would I recommend him for your collection? I would. Unfortunately, he's kind of pricey though. And now the 6 action figures in this wave, he's probably one of the more affordable ones, I suppose. Between him and the Space Trooper, they're probably the more easily accessible ones. As far as price is concerned, I only paid about $35 for him back in 2017, and free shipping, and it was brand new. So, I mean, it's in the realm of possibility. If you really want him, it can happen. I just checked the prices of him, and it seems like he's gone up a lot since then. But he might be one of those action figures where, as long as you keep hunting for him, eventually you'll see a good deal for him. So, unfortunately, this wave was not widely available. It was a Toys R Us exclusive, and I think just about every Toys R Us only got one wave of it, or one case of it. So, if you missed out on that first batch of it, you pretty much were out of luck, unless you went straight to eBay. So, there wasn't a huge production on them. And I think a lot of that is because it was the last wave. Hasbro was just saying, yeah, we're done with the line. Just get whatever there is out, and then we'll move on to the next one, unfortunately. And this is a wave that I think deserved to have a lot more availability, probably even more so than many of the other action figures. Expanding universe characters are always very high in demand, especially the round of characters in this wave. So there's no reason why they shouldn't have a high production run. But it is as is. But regardless of the price, it's a very nice Dark Trooper. If you really want the Phase 1 Dark Trooper for your collection, this is your only opportunity at it. I highly doubt TVC will ever get around to doing it. So this is probably your only opportunity, so just keep shopping around for a good price, and you might find one at some point. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There will always be more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I always appreciate all your support. And check out the links in the description if you haven't done so already. As always, thanks for watching.